MLB The Show 24 is a complete experience on Nintendo Switch. It's not a lazy effort like we've seen in FIFA and NBA 2K games. Here you're going to get all the game modes, all the roster updates, all the content is really here, and the Switch's portability is a big bonus. But you have to remember, Nintendo Switch is a much weaker console, and because of that, there are still limitations. Now, if you have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, then MLB The Show 24 is included, so getting yourself to buy a second copy for the Switch, that's a tough sell. If you do decide to pick up a copy, here's how the Nintendo Switch version compares to the last gen PS4 or Xbox One and the current gen Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. The graphics are of course much worse when you compare to PS5 and even Xbox One. There's a lot less detail, the player models don't look as good, the stadiums, the environments, it's all scaled back. In terms of the resolution, we're talking 720p on the Switch, while Xbox One targets 1080p and Series X is targeting a 4K output. Another difference is the field of view. These overlays clearly show the much smaller field of view on Nintendo Switch. So from here, you can really see the differences are mainly visual, while the gameplay is sort of similar for all three consoles. Now, I do hate using Joy-Cons with this game, especially when pitching. The accuracy just isn't there. It's best to use a Pro Controller. The biggest difference though is perhaps the performance, the frame rate. A couple of days back, I compared the current gen Xbox Series S versus Series X versus PS5. You can see here, even those consoles don't have a stable frame rate. During gameplay, all three consoles are fairly close to 60, but during the in-between cutscenes, there are drops on every console. Now, looking at the weaker Nintendo Switch, well, that's even worse. The frame rate is actually unlocked on Switch. I'm not sure why they just didn't lock it at 30. Nintendo Switch does struggle during the cutscenes and gets as low as 20. Xbox One is even worse, as you can see right here. During gameplay, Nintendo Switch does get over 30 FPS, just slightly above that. So while it's not as good as close to 60 FPS you get on the Series X and PS5, Nintendo Switch is still better than the mid-20s that you get on Xbox One. Overall, this game's not really that well optimized on any of the consoles. The cutscenes do feel sluggish, especially on Nintendo Switch and Xbox One. Now, one area where Nintendo Switch wins is the game size. The lower quality graphics, the lower quality assets means the game's a smaller 30 gigabytes on Switch compared to 57 gigabytes on Xbox One and 97 gigabytes on Series X and PS5. I also compared the loading times. Here I'm loading from dashboard to the main menu. That takes 35 seconds on the Series X. It takes around 1 minute on Nintendo Switch and 1 minute and 39 seconds on Xbox One. Once you have your game set up, starting it up takes about 16 seconds on Series X. Switch isn't too bad at 20 seconds, while Xbox One takes almost a minute. So these are really all the differences you can expect from MLB The Show 24 on Nintendo Switch versus other consoles. For the rest of the video, I have some more gameplay with that FPS counter shown, so check that out.
Dodgers, Mookie Betts. The wind of the pitch. Splits the plate, and away we go this afternoon. There's a strike to Mookie.
Well, we call that keyhole. Even though it's right there and looks pretty good, if he doesn't love it, he's not going to swing that early in the count. And they may not have the flash that they once did, but they've got the wisdom to be able to understand different situations, be able to think with the opponent and sometimes in front of the opponent. And you always seem to see a team like this. They come to the ballpark, they know how to get down to business, and they understand what the job is at hand.
And up to the plate is Will Smith.
Here's someone, historically speaking, that prefers day games over night games, so I'm excited to see what he does in this one.
And first offering is fouled off. Smith, a former All-Star, hitting third in the lineup, a former first-round pick back in 2016. That's a bullet, but it goes foul. Swing, and that ball smashed on a line. And that is that. Dodgers down in order. Now the
batting ninth.
Now we'll see the 1994 Minor League Player of the Year. Here's Derek Jeter.
He had a lot of success in the minors, and a lot of people around baseball think he's going to be a pretty good player.
And a swing and a miss.
0-2.
Ground ball left side, and it goes just foul. Anderson ready to work. Bounce to the left side. Fair ball. In comes the runner from third, and Derek Jeter collects his first major league hit with no outs. Hammered, and this one could be extra bases. One runs in. Coming home. Seager with a relay home. In there safely. And they take a 2-run lead. And now it's Max Muncy. This guy with light tower power. And a good fastball to start him off. That's strike one.
Ball, 1 strike.
Left-hand hitter waits. Swing and a miss. Oh, and he lost the handle on that one. Man at second. And a foul ball. He stays alive. The 0-2. Swing and a miss. Struck him out. Chased the fastball up the ladder for strike 3.
Boog gets talked about a lot, but a good high fastball in a 2-strike situation, it's just become such a problem for hitters in more recent years. But with all of the emphasis by pitchers on developing that spin rate, having a good grip on the baseball, those high fastballs, they kind of look like to the hitter that they're rising, even though they're not, but they're not decreasing in velocity and spin rate. So very difficult to get the barrel on it.
Here's Teoscar Hernandez. On the ground. Young tosses to first. That ends the inning, and they limit the damage. But they'll pick up a couple runs here, both coming on this 2-run double. And it's 2-0.